Hi guys. Um, with my Zoom to Facebook, it did not record right. So I am recording another video for you guys and I'm going to post it on my Facebook. So let me make sure that my phone is turned up to where you guys can hear me and you can see. Now, every once in a while, I'll pick up the picture so you could actually see the pink on here because it's not showing up very good and it's kind of reflective, kind of weird. So this is what we ended up painting on Zoom today. And I do apologize that all you got to see on Facebook was my face. So nobody said anything. Even Matt, he came in and said he could see my live, but he never told me that all you could see was my face. You couldn't see the painting. So we're going to do this again just for you guys on Facebook. So, what you're going to need to get started is you're going to need a paper plate or something, foil or something that you can put your paint on. You're going to need a couple different sizes of paintbrushes. You're going to need some either a canvas or a mixed media pad, which is that's what this is. This is a mixed media pad. And this is an 11 by 14, but they sell them in all kinds of sizes. So you can get, you can pick these up at Walmart, Michael's, Hobby Lobby, Joann's, pretty much any any store that has craft supplies. So they're not too expensive. I suggest if you're going to buy one to go to Michael's or Hobby Lobby or somewhere where you can use coupons. Um, I think maybe they do sales on these every once in a while, but I think maybe I bought this and it was like 50% off. I might have paid like $7 or $8 for it. But it has a lot of paper in it. And the nice thing about the paper, it's a little bit thicker. So even if you get um, water on it or whatever, it's okay. So I'm going to show you guys a few of my paintings that I've done to get ready for our snowman painting. So the first one I did is right here. And I decided I didn't really like the way his hat and his face came out. So I decided to do a different one. So I did this one. And then I posted it on my Facebook page and I asked for suggestions. And every single person said it needed a hat. So we added a hat. This is just another painting I did the other night. So we added a hat today and we did a stocking cap instead of a top hat. So since I've painted this now twice with pink, I'm going to do a different color for his hat. So um, grab you some paper. It doesn't have to be a canvas, but if you have a canvas or a canvas board, go for it. Um, if you have one of these pads, you can use that as well. Um, you're going to need some paint. So, what all the supplies that you're going to need a paper plate or foil or something to put your paint on. You're going to need some paper towels to wipe your brushes off with. Um, you're going to need black, craft paint, white, orange of any color, and a little bit of pink for some blush on the cheeks, and then whatever color you decide for the hat or the scarf, if you decide to put one on there. I am using a 1-inch flat brush and an 8 number round. So if you don't have that size, just grab you something that's a little bit bigger and grab you a paintbrush that you can do lines with, that you're not getting really, crazy with, because that's what we're going to use to write the words. So now that we've got that, our first step is going to be you're going to want to decide where you want your snowman. So I am going to put him kind of in this little area down here. Now, if you don't want to draw a circle, you can find something at home that is the shape of a circle. So, for example, you can find you a big spaghetti can or maybe a salad plate or something like that to where you can trace the circle. I'm just going to freehand it, and I'm not too worried if my circle ends up being a little wonky because of the simple fact that snowmans are never actually ever perfectly circle. So we're just going to go for it. So I'm going to start down here, and I'm just going to trace this on here because what we're going to do is we're going to leave the paper or your canvas white, and then we're going to paint the whole rest of the background a different color. So, and I think since I've done 2 of them now with black background, I might pick a different color for the background. So this, I'm just, like I said, I'm just going to trace my circle on here. It doesn't have to be perfect, and I'm barely putting this on here. So you're not really going to be able to see my circle when I'm done painting this. I mean, you might be able to see a little bit of it, but it's okay. So we got there. So there's my circle. That's going to be my head for my snowman. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pick my background. So I'm going to leave the inside of this circle white. I'm not going to paint that quite yet. And then I'm going to paint my background whatever color I decide I want my sky to be. So in all the last 2 or 3 of them that I've done, I've painted it black. So I think I might do a blue. So I've got some blue paint here. I'm gonna, this is just regular craft paint, nothing special. It is just blue. This one's called True Blue, but it's just a royal blue. I am actually gonna add a little bit of black to this to make it just a little bit darker because I don't want bright blue for my background. And I have a little black left on my paper plate from earlier. So I'm just going to pick up some of that black. I'm going to pick up some of the blue, and I'm going to mix it together. Now, if you want to paint your background black, like I've done in all the other ones of these paintings, so that is perfectly fine. I'm just changing this up just a little bit, just so I don't have the exact same thing on all of them that I've painted. So coming in here, and I am just going to paint the whole entire background. I'm not going to paint the inside of where I put my circle, okay? So let me mix up some more of this paint so I have enough to cover it. So like I said, and it's okay if the colors are kind of blended together or if you've got lighter spots. Now, if you can see that your paint isn't spreading the way you want it to, take your water and you're going to add just a tiny, tiny bit of water onto the edge of your paintbrush. And then you're going to come in here and it's going to smooth a lot easier. You're going to be able to see that you're going to be able to spread your paint a lot easier. So we'll go in here. I'm going to add just a tiny bit more water. Go in here. Almost makes it like a watercolor. But I'm going to go right around where my snowman's head is. And I'm going to paint this whole area. Now, if you are painting on your kitchen table or, something like that, make sure that you put a trash bag or a piece of plastic, like a plastic table cover or something like that, so you don't get paint on your table. So like I said, we're just going to paint this background. I put a little bit more water on my paintbrush so I can spread that paint out. And I'm okay with all the different directions and angles. I'm not too worried about, the lines in my stuff because I'm going to cover most of that up. So come in here. And like I said, I'm painting on a mixed media pad. So it has the spirals in it. I'm not too worried about that either. If I end up getting paint on my spirals, I don't care because guess what? It has like 1,000,010 colors of paint all over it, and I'm not worried about it. So, come in here. I'm going to mix a little bit more of that blue and that black together. And now if you have a dark blue and you want to use just a dark blue, go for it. I didn't have one here with me, and I didn't bring all of my paint with me. I just brought my main colors. So I'm doing a little bit of mixing together, and that's okay. Like I said, it doesn't have to be black. You can paint it blue. If you want your background to be red or purple or whatever color, you go for it. I still can't believe that I streamed, and okay guys, I literally, you guys seen it. If I haven't taken down the thing yet, you guys can see my live on there where I was streaming Zoom and all you could see was my face. Nobody told me that you couldn't see the painting. So that's why we're doing it again. Because I want to make sure that you guys on Facebook that didn't have the Zoom link can paint this if you decide you want to. So, and this is something really fun too. Like if you have your grandkids over, or if if you're watching your grandkids, or you have them over and you want to do an arts and craft project with them, this is something really easy that they could do with you. So. And you can come back on here and watch this video, and you can pause it because I'm doing it live to record it, but it's going to be on Facebook. So you're going to be able to come back and you're going to be able to pause it or fast forward it or rewind it if you need to. So if you are wanting to follow step by step, it'll be there for you. So that'll give you time too if you need to go get supplies or if you need to go grab some paint from Walmart or wherever, if you're going to go to the hobby store. Now, apple barrel paint is just as good as if you're buying it at Hobby Lobby or Michael's. It is a little thinner, so you might have to use a few more coats of paint on it, but there's nothing wrong with that. All right, I think I got my background where I like it. I've got a nice mixture of blue and light blue and some black in there, so that's good. Now I'm going to add a little bit down here to this corner because I decided to not make his circle go all the way down here. So I just need to remember to put a little bit of this blue paint down here. And like I said, if you're painting black, then don't forget your little corner down here if you've left it open. Now you can see my circle's not perfectly circle, and that's okay. I am not too concerned about it because snowmans aren't perfect. They're not perfect. So if you decide to paint this at home, you decide to get you a piece of copy paper or printer paper and, paint this with us, make sure that you take a picture and post it for us because I love to see how creative people get with this. Okay, so I've got my background painted blue and black and light blue and gray and whatever color it ended up being. I'm going to rinse my paintbrush off. Now, if you've got your paint water and your coffee or your cup with your pop or your juice or whatever it is you're drinking in it, make sure that you do not pick up your paint cup because your paint water does not taste very good. Believe me from experience. Okay, so I've got my paintbrush cleaned out. Now I'm going to pick up some of my white, and I'm actually going to paint this white circle. Now, you don't have to paint the inside of this circle if you do not want to. If you want to leave this white just because the paper's white, that is 100% okay. I'm actually going to paint mine just so it gives a little bit for the eye and the nose to stick to. So I'm going to go ahead and paint this white. So if you haven't already, get your white paint out. I'll give mine a good shake here. And like I said, this is all of my paint is just, I'm like craft paint. It's not anything special. This is Apple Barrel brand. This is from Walmart. I'm almost 100% positive that I have refilled this tube probably 2 or 3 times. I got some big giant jugs of um, paint at Michael's one time, and I just like the primary colors, and I just refill my jugs. So I'm not trying to pour out from a gallon jug. So give your paint a good shaking up. I'm gonna put some white on your paper plate. And I'm still gonna use my big brush, but you can use whatever size brush you have. And I am just gonna, like I said, I'm just gonna paint the inside of this circle, and I'm just painting it white. I'm not doing anything special here. I'm just painting it white. And you don't even have to do this if you do not want to. If you don't want to paint this white, you don't have to. Get a little bit more paint. So all right. Got my snowman face painted white. Gonna let him dry for a second. Then we're gonna go in here. I'm actually gonna go right around the edge because I want to fan out that white just a little bit. I don't want him to be a perfect circle. So I'm just gonna kind of see how it's kind of fraying just a little bit on the sides. That's okay. I want that look. You don't have to have that look if you don't want it to look like that. All right. I think my white's almost dry. I'm gonna let it dry just a second here. I'm gonna rinse out my brush. I'm gonna take a drink break. So I've got my Diet Dr. Pepper. I'm also letting my background dry because I'm gonna use the background here pretty soon. But as you can see right now, I've still got a little bit of that. All I've done is painted this white, and this is what I was talking about the little bit of the fray. I kind of like that look. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. Okay, got that done. Now, let's see. You're gonna take some. I want my white to dry, so I don't want to. I don't want to paint over the top of it quite yet. So I'm going to take my next paintbrush, and this is just an 8 round. Oh, there we go. It's an 8 round, and this, you can pick these up at Walmart in their packs. You can pick them up at Michael's, Hobby Lobby. I think this is probably a pack from Michael's, the Craft Smart brand. It's nothing. Yeah, it's just a round one. So I have a little bit of orange on my plate from earlier, but it's about dry, so I'm going to add some more. I am using a spiced pumpkin. This is Deco Art brand. You do not have to have this color. If you have just a regular orange, that is okay. If you want your orange to be just a little bit darker, you add just a tiny bit of black to it, and it will make it just a tiny bit darker. So, how to make your nose for your snowman. I'm going to make sure he's dry there. He's pretty dry. So I'm going to kind of pick right here in the middle. It's kind of where I think my nose should be. And I'm going to bring this up here so you're not getting that glare off of it. Now we're going to have shadows, but that's okay. At least you'll be able to see what I'm doing. All right, I've got my orange on my paintbrush, and I'm going to come in here and I'm going to make a half moon, or like a smiley face. Okay, so I've got my half moon or my smiley face. I'm going to grab a little bit more orange, And I'm going to come out here. I'm going to make almost like a triangle. So I'm going to come out here to the end of my white, and then I'm going to stop because I'm going to put some white down out here underneath that blue so you can see the edge of the carrot. So now I don't want my edge of my snowman nose to be super straight. So I'm going to add just a little bit of some ridges in here, and I'm just kind of messing it up. So if you didn't paint perfect lines, that's okay, because I don't think I've ever seen a carrot have a perfect lines. So after that, I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to paint my nose. And sorry, John must be vacuuming the back entryway here. All right. We got our orange nose painted now. All right, so we got part of our nose. Like I said, we're going to leave this spot over here blank right now because I want to put some white down first because of the background, especially if you used black or a dark color. You want to make sure that you put a little bit of white down where the nose is going to go because you won't be able to see that orange. It's kind of a translucent color, so I'm going to put this back down here. I'm actually going to shut the door. Hopefully that'll block out some of that vacuum noise. So get back up here. I'm gonna rinse the orange off my brush. So I'm gonna use that same brush to put the white down. So I'm just gonna rinse him off. Doesn't have to get all of the orange out, but just enough to where you're not spreading. I'll pick up a little bit of my white on my deal here, and all I'm gonna do is come in here and I'm gonna extend this nose out where I feel like it would go into a point. And then I'm going to fill it in with white. I am going to fill that in with white. And it doesn't have to be like super bright white or anything, but just enough to where you have a little bit on the background so when you do paint that orange, you can see it. So again, I'm going to paint a little bit of that white. I'm going to let that dry. It won't take long for that to dry, so we're going to let that dry. I'm going to rinse out my brush. And I'm going to wipe it off because I want to get some of that, I want to get most of that water off of there. And this, like I said, it's going to be dry. We're going to pick up our orange. Let's make sure it's dry. Acrylic paint dries pretty fast on paper and canvas. Now, if you're painting on wood, it does soak in really, really fast. So you'll probably need more paint if you're painting on wood. And my trick for painting on wood is if you are painting on wood, you are going to want to have some water because you're going to want to thin out your paint. It'll make it a lot easier to spread on your piece of wood. But same thing with canvas. If you are getting to that point, or the paper, if you feel like your paint's not spreading very good, either you need to get a lot more paint or you need to add just a tiny bit of water to thin it out so it does spread. So I think that's good. We're going to go ahead and paint the rest of this nose orange. And you can see what I'm talking about here. Now you can actually see the orange on that blue. So we'll go ahead and paint in the rest of our nose. I hope some of you decide that you might want to paint this at some point. If you do, make sure to post a picture. I know I said that before, but I love to see how creative people get painting. So even if you, have your grandkids do this, or if you decide to do it, or, you share it with a friend of yours and they decide to paint it, definitely take a picture and send it to me. You can either send it to my email or you can post it here on the Facebook. Post a picture on the Facebook and I'm going to share them because I like to see them. So all I did there is I extended out the nose. Now, I'm going to take a tiny bit. I still have orange on my paintbrush, and I'm going to take just a tiny bit of my black, and I'm going to mix it together. I'll take a little bit more of my orange, and I'm going to mix it together, and I'm getting kind of almost like a brown, but it's kind of a dark, or I don't know, it's kind of a brownish color, but it's kind of a dark orange too. So I don't know what color that is. Anyways, all I'm doing is just getting a little bit darker shade of orange, and I'll show you what we're going to do here. So we've got some of that. Oop, I got a little bit of that. There we go. We're getting some of that on there, and I've got that kind of mixture of color on there. Now I'm going to take my carrot that I've painted, and I'm just going to come in here and add just some little grooves or little marks on the nose, just to add a little dimension on it so it doesn't just look like I put a bunch of orange on the paper. So it doesn't have to have any rhyme or rhythm, just wherever you feel like might need a little bit of, and see that end down there is still a little wet, so I'm going to wait for that to dry. Now I'm going to come back in here and I'm just going to come around the edge of the bottom of it here just to give a little bit of shadow to the carrot, just so it's not just a straight orange. And you can do that on the top too if you like. You don't have to. These are all just extra little steps if you want to add a little bit of oomph to your carrot. So got a little bit in here. Now I'm going to wait until this one up here is still a little wet, so I'm going to wait for the top of my nose to get dry, and then I'm going to add just a little bit in there, and we're going to add our face on here, and then we'll decide if we want to put a hat on him. And I think we will. We'll probably add a hat on him, and then we will add some words, and then we'll add some snow, and he'll be done. So it's a pretty fast little project here. Still a little wet there. I don't want to put too much of that paint. I don't want to try to blend it because it'll just smear it, but all I'm doing is just, like I said, I'm going to add a little bit in here just to where it doesn't look like, straight orange. Okay, so I think I'm done with my nose. I'm going to wipe my brush off. And it's okay if it still has a little bit of the orange in the paintbrush, because we're going to black right now, and black is darker, so it'll cover it up. Okay, so now we're going to add our mouth, and excuse me, I'm going to go in here. Hopefully you can see where my paintbrush is. I am just going to make some circles. So I'm actually not even making circles. I'm just making blobs. But this is where my little snowman mouth is going to be. And he's a happy snowman. And now I've got my smile on there. So I'm going to go ahead and add some eyes in here. And I like to do my snowmans with the little upside down smiley faces. That's what's going to make their eyes. So I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to make him an eye there. And I'll make him an eye right here. And it's going to go a little behind my carrot, which is okay. So he's a happy snowman. He's a happy snowman. So, and I think I am going to add, this is dry, by the way. I don't know why. It looks kind of like it's still wet, but it's dry. So I've got my snowman face on here. And I think I'm going to add him a stocking cap like I did the other one, but I'm not going to use pink. I'm going to use kind of an aqua color. So like I said, guys, you can use whatever color paints you have. You don't have to do it exactly like I did. You can do it however you want. But since I've done like 2 or 3 of them now with pink, I'm going to do a blue or a turquoise. I think I'm thinking this color. I had this in the closet over there when we used to do painting on rocks. I don't know. I have kind of a bluish color. It's called Caribbean, or I have one that's called Ocean Breeze, and I'm kind of leaning towards this sea green color, so I think I'll do that one. Now, if you need ideas on a hat, you can go on Google and just type in hat and then click on the button that says images, and it will show you a bunch of different snowman hats or something like that. If you want to specifically do a snowman hat, I would type in Google snowman hat and then maybe clip art behind it or something like that, and then hit the images when you search. And it will show you a ton of different hats that you can use. So I think that I'm just going to freehand this in, and that's kind of what I did with the stocking cap. Let's go back to the page right before so you guys can see what I did with the stocking cap. So all I did with this was I made a little bit of a brim, and then I just added the poof at the top, and it turned out really cute. So I think I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to do that with the aqua green color. And I think that's going to show up really good on this dark blue that I did for the background. So I'm going to come in here with my pen or your pencil or whatever you got, and I'm just going to freehand kind of where I feel like a hat would be. Because I do want it to come down just a little bit on the head. And I'm not doing very dark because I want to make sure that I can cover up, and I'm not sure how dark that paint is. So I'm going to go there, and I feel like maybe the brim about to there. And then we'll add the hat part. We'll come up and around, and it's going to come off the page just a little bit. And so, I mean, I know you can't see that, and I can barely see it on here as well because that pen is dark and the paint is dark. So I'm just going to freehand this. We're just going to guesstimate what it's going to look like. So hopefully it'll be okay. I got, like I said, this is an Ocean Breeze, but you can use whatever color you want. That was just one of them that was one of the first ones I picked up out of the closet in there. So I'll show you kind of what I outlined here. Uh-oh, I had water on my hand. Did I smear my paint? Nope. Okay. So I'm going to come in here, and I'm still using my 8 round, and I'm going to eyeball his hat on here. Sorry guys, I might end up losing my voice. Hopefully not. Oh, I got one here. And And I'm going to come up about to here. I feel like that'll be a good starting point here for his hat. Now, if you want to, you can paint this underneath side white if you if you feel like your paint's not going to cover or it's not covering very well. You can definitely paint over that with white first and then paint your color over the top of it. So I think we'll go, we'll actually make this come out just a little bit more here. And I am doing this all freehand, so you guys are going to have a little grace with me because I have never claimed to be super duper artist here. So I'm going to come about right here, and all I'm going to do is just come up. I feel like that's a good... Like I said, I'm making a stocking cap, so it's kind of coming off the side of the page, and that's okay. Because his head's not completely on the page either, so. Okay, so you can see I have a little bit of the outline down for my hat. I'm gonna go in here. Don't worry, because we're gonna go back and we're gonna fill in some lines so you can actually see the hat, like where the brim and stuff is. So I'm gonna come in here and I'm just gonna slap some paint down. I'm just gonna paint over the blue and the white and everything. If I need to, I can come back in with a second coat, but I don't think I'm gonna worry too much about it. So got that on there. Almost done with the brim here. And I went ahead and extended it out to that carrot. I'm gonna fill it in. And like I said, don't worry, we're going to come back in with a little bit of black to show kind of a little bit more dimension on that hat. So I'm holding this up here so you guys can see it because my lighting is kind of weird in here and it's reflecting off of the white, so it's not really showing my colors the right way. I mentioned for January we're going to have another Zoom painting, and we're going to paint a Valentine gnome. And I'm going to offer for my senior center members, I'm going to offer where if they want to use their own supplies, they can. If they don't have all the stuff and they want to come and pick it up, I'll make the little kits together for them, and they can come pick it up before our class, so then we can all paint together. This one was just kind of a fun trial thing just to see if we had any interest in painting. And it seems like we do have some interest, so I went ahead and put it back. I went ahead and added it in for January as well. And like I said, I'm going to do a little kit together, I think, that'll have the drawing all traced out for you guys. And then we'll just paint it together. So that'll be fun. All right, so we have his little hat on him. And I'm going to add a little poof on the top because, well, I think they're cute. So I'm going to come right here and I'm just going to add a little poofy. And all I did was make an X or a plus sign, and then I'm going to make an X. And then I'm just going to come in here and I'm just going to make some just different lines in here to make a little poof. So all I'm doing is just making some lines. Nothing. Oop, you can't even see it, sorry. Making some lines to where it just makes it look like a little poof ball on the top of his hat. Okay. Got that on there. And I think I will add a scarf on here now. So at the very bottom, all I'm going to do is make kind of a, I feel like this would be a good place for his scarf. So I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to bring it out just a little bit. I'm going to make a square or rectangle or whatever, and I'm going to take my hair off of the paint. Go in here and fill in the bottom. The reason why I'm going to go ahead and do that because I have the paint on the paintbrush right now, and I might as well. So I'm going to fill it in. Now, I think that we should make some decoration on his hat and his scarf. So I feel like I don't want to do black, but I feel like maybe blue. I'm not sure. We'll add some tassels on here. So all I did was just make some V's, and then I put a point in the middle of it. I didn't do anything special there. The bottom of these, I think I'm going to make some little poof balls on this. This one will be a little different than the pink one that I did. Okay. We got that on there. Now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick up a little bit of my black just so I can do some outline on it, and then we'll figure out how we want to decorate the scarf and the hat. So I didn't wash my brush off. I still have that greenish blue color on it. I'm just going to pick up a tiny bit of the black, and I'm going to come in here where I felt like my brim of my hat was. So I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to lightly trace over the top where I felt like my hat was. Just to give it a little bit of definition so you can see that it's an actual hat. And if you want to, you can go ahead and add a little bit down here at the bottom too. You don't have to do this part, but I think I'll go ahead and add just a little bit on here. This is where it comes down to making sure you have a nice little point on your paintbrush. Okay, got some paint on there. I'm going to come in here. Oop, I keep sticking my hand right there in that wet paint. Gosh darn it. All right, so with a stocking cap, feel like there's always like little ridges on it. So I'm going to add just a little bit in here just to kind of make it look more like a stocking cap. I'm not doing anything real technical here. And you can add this in if you like, or you don't have to. Just to make it look a little bit more like a hat. I've got that on there. I'm actually going to come in here with a little bit of my black on his little poof ball. I'm going to add a little bit of, just a little bit in here so you can see that it's a poof ball. And I'm barely touching the paper right now. That's why I'm getting these really light marks. So I'm barely touching the paper. I'm going to come down here on his scarf and do the same thing. I'm going to barely touch where the tassels are. Just to give it a little something here. Okay. Now that we've done that, I'm going to rinse my paintbrush off. And I'm going to pick what color I decided to do. What color should we do on this? Let's see. Okay, I think, I don't know, we'll use this other blue that I had sitting out here. Let's see what it ends up looking like. Might be too close to the same colors. Let's see, we'll try some down here on the, we'll make it look like, yeah, you're not gonna be able to see that. So X-nay that one. We're not gonna use that color because you're not gonna be able to see it. We'll just do this regular blue again. Why not? We have it out. Might as well use it. I'm not going to need a whole bunch of it. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to make some snowflakes, I think. Or stars, or whatever you want to call these. I'm going to add a couple in here, I think. All I'm doing is a line. I'm making a plus sign. And then I'm going to come back in. And I'm going to make an X right through my plus sign. I'll add another one up here. You guys can see, I'll bring the thing up here so you can see what I'm doing here. All right. So I'm making a line. And then I'm going to come through it. And then I'm going to go through an X through the middle. And I'll put maybe one over here. And I'll do one over here just to kind of give it something on the hat. Now this is where you can pick hearts or polka dots or whatever you want to put on it. You don't have to do this exact design. You can do whatever you want on your hat or your scarf. I am going to come back in and I'm just going to add some polka dots as well because I feel like it needs some polka dots. did it to it. That polka dots did it. That makes me happy. And I think I'll come up here since we've got a little black. I think I'll come in and I'll add a little bit of my blue for some little fringes in the hat too. Okay, we got that on there. Now we're pretty much done with our snowman. I'm going to rinse my paintbrush out because I'm going to use the words. I'm going to write the words on here, but I am going to write them in that teal green or the turquoise green or whatever color it is. And we're going to write, there's no place like home, just like what I did on the other ones. Oh, look at me getting all. Okay, so we've got our stocking cap, we've got our scarf down here. I'm going to go ahead and write it in, and then all we're going to do is add some snow, and we're going to call this guy good. And hopefully you guys enjoyed painting along with me, where you can see what I was doing instead of my complete silly spoof on Zoom, my Zoom sharing. So, yeah, that's all right though. Technical stuff. All right, I got paint on my pinky, so I don't want to get it everywhere. Okay, so I'm just freehanding this on here. Now, if you don't want to freehand the words, you can print this off on copy paper and then take a pencil and color all over the back of the page, put it down, and then draw over the top of it or trace it, and you will be able to see the outline of it. And that's one way to do tracing if you don't have any carbon paper. Again, you can write whatever you want on here. You don't have to write this on there. I just thought it was cute. Again, if you decide to paint this, or draw it, or color it, or whatever, make sure to send me a picture of your finished project so I can share it, or at least look at it and say, that's super cute. And when you get your January compass in the mail or your email, make sure to let me know if you want to do the gnome painting, because it's going to be super cute. I'll have to see if I can't find a picture of it to post it to give you guys a little sneak peek of what we're going to do. So, well, there's I have a little shaky hand every once in a while when I'm trying to do words, so please forgive me. And I tend to write like this, up in an angle. I know Ed and Anna always laughed at me when I filled out the whiteboard up there at the front. You could always tell when it was me that did it because my words slanted. And they always went like, they slanted up, and they would always laugh at me. So I'm doing okay, I think. I'm not getting too bad. Okay, there's Snow Place. We're getting close. Okay, there's no place like, one more word. Ooh, my E's gonna be squished. It's okay. All right, we got it on there. There's no place like home. Oh, he's super cute. I love him. Okay, now if you feel like you want to go over your words again, you can to give it a little bit of you can go over it again if you feel like it's not showing up on your paper, but I think this one is showing up pretty good on it. I'm not too worried about it. I'm going to add some snow in here. So this is going to be the easiest way for you to add snow. Go ahead and clean your paintbrush off so you don't get it all over yourself. And now we're going to take the bottom of the paintbrush. We're going to take this end of it and we're going to dip it in our paint. So if you don't have any more white on your paper plate, go ahead and pour a little bit out. So I've got my white on there. Ooh, my camera is freezing just a little bit. I must not have the internet in here. So I've got a little bit of white on the tip of my paintbrush, and I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to add some dots in here where I feel like there needs to be some snow. And that is going to give you about the best snow. Now, if you want to get real adventurous and like flick paint on it, make sure you have something down on your table because you will get paint everywhere. Let's see. I feel like maybe right there. That looks good. I think I'm done with my snow. Now make sure to wipe the back of your paintbrush off so you don't end up getting paint in your storage stuff. So here is our snowman. And he turned out super cute. Well, if you guys can see him, he turned out super cute. So I want to say thank you for hanging in there. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment on the video and or call me or email me if you have any other questions, and I'll be happy to try to explain what I did over the phone. So anyways, thanks guys. Bye.